Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of GNN. Today is September 11th, 2024, and we have another banner night on our hands here. But before we get into the details of our brand new mobile suit, let's go over some news. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, to kick off the news, we have a Silver Week campaign kicking off. This is obviously a limited time only with a daily one free supply drop pull, which includes 5 stars once a day, and this is going to be starting today. Basically, let me look into this a little bit more. It is starting today all the way till September 24th. So this also includes 5 stars, as I mentioned before, 2-star or rarer guaranteed for free, collect up to 14 free pulls. So this is going to be a 2-week campaign. Pretty neat stuff if you're just starting and maybe you need to round out some rare suits without having to open that pocketbook. But more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, you're gonna get some dupes in there for sure, which means recycled tickets for maybe something you've been saving up. So on top of that, during this Silver Week campaign, we also have a special mobile suit enhancement step-up supply drop, which is repeatable. Basically, step 1 through 5 are all different mechanical tickets, with the first step being a half off. Might be great if you're tuning suits, but honestly, for me personally, I'll probably skip this one just because, well, I think, unless you're fully min-maxing certain things, it's not necessary, but if you got extra tokens to spare, it might be cool. Might be working out for you, especially if you got some single star suits that, might need some ridiculous tuning. Anyways, we also, on top of that, have a powered up hanger campaign, which means any suit that you happen to throw in the hanger has 3 times great success rate and enhanced values for dupes as well. So, all of that kind of works hand in hand there. Now, with the update, we have our main event suit. It's been speculated for a very long time with the RX, and well, now it's finally here. This has a iteration in Gundam Katana, but the NT-X, basically, which I believe for the longest time was supposed to be the bridge gap between the RX and the new Gundam, hence why the styling is very, very similar. This is before we got any of the other Gundam series side stories in between, from 0080 all the way up to Char's counterattack, such as Stardust Memory and everything else that we know through Advances Zeta, and so forth. So 3-star suit, we'll get into the details shortly, because we also have a coincide limited supply drop notice for the Gaplant IO. I believe this is a native 600, so this was also giving you an opportunity to get the 650 variant, which includes, I believe, the beam rifle and beam saber weapons. So if you really enjoyed the suit, this is your chance to get the 650. If you missed out, also your chance to get the suit. Pretty cool stuff. We do have some changes to the DP exchange counter as follows. The cap pull, level 3, has now been added. We have the level 2 bound dock, which I believe this is 700, if I'm not mistaken, because I believe it's a 650 native. Somebody's going to correct me out there. We also have the level 2 Jesta cannon and the level 4 Z-Zulu. I can see people doing some really stupid stuff with the Z-Zulu level 4. Please be nice. No changes to the recycled ticket counter, unfortunately. This week for the situation battle is called Varuna's Tier. Just to kind of give you an idea, I believe this is a Battlefield Record 0081 inspired thing. So you have the G line series, the light armor, the standard, the assault, and GM commands, basically representing the Federation side, and then you have the Noct, the Gelgu, Daumtruppen, Zaku 2 heavy arms, and a Zaku 1 representing the Zeon side. Of course, the assault armor will have the observational data link, it'll be your pseudo support in this case, as well as the Zaku 1 having the close combat program. So might be kind of cool to jump into that if you're interested. The first week will give you the G-Line standard armor, which is a native 400, so free dupe if you already have it already, plus some subsequent DP rewards as you go through the different steps. The following week after will be for the level 1 Noct, which is a 350 suit raid, and more DP rewards as well. Going into, as I right click, here we are, the NT-X, a 500 cross 3-star support usable on ground and space. This is a high performance prototype known wow, I was not known for my vocabulary, but yes, this was pretty much centered around the Alex project. So I'm not sure what happened between the Alex, this, and well, what we know as the Tristan, but you know, writing be kind of weird that way. It was originally developed by the Augusta New Type Labs, and this is also relating to the GM Custom, and well, but due to lack of new time pilots, it was difficult to acquire experimental data, leading to its transfer to the Murasame New Type Lab. As a Gundam type unit, it offered outstanding performance and high versatility, equipped with a diverse array of weaponry. More specifically, featured a beam saber for melee combat, machine gun, mounted beam launcher, and special weapons called wired psychomu bits for mid-range engagements, boasting a high standard of combat capability from a basic performance perspective alone. Its sub-weapon called the wired psychomu bit ×2 linked goes into standby mode, tracking your movement. When executing an attack other than tackle or counter, it will link for temporary range combo attack towards the reticle. So very similar to, I want to say, the mechanics when you use the fin funnels off of the Hainu on a friendly, and they just, when they're using range attacks, they attack the same target that your teammate is attacking. So works a very similar manner, except this is for you. So pretty cool, pretty neat stuff. After using this weapon, the standby state of the large bits is released after when a certain amount of time has elapsed and the weapon overheats, or by manually reloading the weapon. So pretty cool stuff. If you are doing 10 pulls for this suit, you do get a chance. If you haven't already, this is the normal suit for Chloe Crochet. I am pronouncing this badly, but she is from Mobile Suit Gundam Side Story. She is the missing link, to be exact. So she is the pilot of the Pale Rider and later the Toads Rider. So this is your chance to get that really cool specialized Federation suit that I guess you could say in a way Experimental and Aces only wore this. It's really cool stuff. So without further ado, off to the nitty gritty. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we are with our main event. Jumping into the line, when I look at this, I initially essentially reminded by the Advanced Hazel, which is at 550. There are some similarities here, considering that there is a leaning towards beam resistance in both cases. This one here, we got 26 with 18 and 16 respectively, and its other counterparts there, which is not bad. Gives you room to kind of play with things from a certain extent. HP is kind of normal, although, you know, supports don't generally come with a whole lot of, you know, tankiness for that matter. As suggested with the weapons loadout that you see with the NT-X in, I would say, various media, games, and now here, this does have a leaning towards range power. We do have, going down the line in movement speed, walking at 125, high speed being 190, which is pretty standard for most supports. I haven't really seen any at 500, obviously, that go faster than that. Pretty good, decent amount of thruster gauge. You're sitting at 65. So this is kind of a weird suit because it's post 1 year war, but not quite. Maybe 0083. It's a lot of it's in, I would say, mysterious. I think Katana is supposed to be around 0083, roughly. Somebody's going to correct me on the timeline there, just because that is from the manga side of things. And turning speed 57, which is pretty standard. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, the Mud Rock, the old classic workhorse for a lot of folks. That's pretty much in that same boat. So yeah, pretty much par down the line. Looking at the custom part slots here, a little more leaning towards mid to long range. Not very much to play with in close range, so you do kind of have to think a little smart as far as playing the Tetris game with, you know, all your various parts and possibly overheat here. Going into the main primary, we have a machine gun rifle this thing has. I always thought it was a beam rifle from G-Generation Genesis and all that stuff, but obviously that's not the case here. We're looking at base power of 150 per shot, 50 rounds, 300 meters effective range with a 8-second reload time. So this is going to be one of those suits that's going to be very close to its front line, but not like right on their ass necessarily. So definitely wants to be in there in a way, and I'm pretty sure it's going to tie into the funnel attacks as well. Going to the primary weapon, has its own beam saber, 2.5 seconds for swings and 2100 power output there. So pretty substantial. It probably gets mitigated quite a bit against, like, say, generals that have a decent focus in melee resistance. Despite that, I think it chunked pretty well for the most part. We do have head Vulcans. Now these are pretty crazy just because the firepower is sitting at 110. That's pretty nuts. Most average Vulcans are usually around the 80 to 90 range. So I'm kind of curious to see how the fire rate is in tandem with the primary weapon. This does have an effective range of 200 meters. No cooldown, obviously, because of the rapid fire. 60 rounds in the mag and 6-second reload time. So I'm assuming probably the standard fare of 1 to 5% before it flinch. That lovely build stun there. Probably standard, but we'll see. I'll have to test this after we're done here. We do have a arm-mounted beam launcher, very reminiscent of the FSWS program, and not the old 90mm pew-pew that the Alex is known for. This one has a 350 base power, 18% heat rate, and 350 effective meters, with a half a second cooldown time, 17-second overheat with the 2.5-second focus. So this is going to be interesting because the weapon overlap is very similar to its primary weapon. So this is probably going to be something you're going to lead into maybe when you do charge. So kind of curious. It's almost seemingly going to be like a burst fire weapon. Want to try it out for sure. Going into the first portion of the wire bits that it runs with, it has the discharge, bombard, very similar if you've seen the Kshatriya in action, I'm assuming. Base power 400, probably a continuous beam. Instant overheat for 350 meters, so it's going to be down for a good 30 seconds, so probably great to hit somebody around corners, behind cover. It's going to be a interesting piece of work here. Especially when moving up with your team. You do also have a linked version, which we kind of briefly went over going into the main event, just because per shot ×2, 900 base power. It overheats, I think, once you reload or once it runs out of certain time, so you're going to have it up quite a bit. I could see people running overheat parts already, because going into both of these here, 30 seconds, 22 seconds, pretty substantial downtime. Especially with if you overplay with the beam launcher and then you're only left with the machine gun and the Vulcans to save you. It does come with a shield too to kind of offset the squishiness that this suit comes with. So 3k is not very much, but it does kind of save it to kind of move up with the team and, you know, get those swings in when possible if it's an opportunity to do so, but to kind of just reposition and stay safe for the most part. Going into the shopping list of skills, this is quite a setup because it has high performance radar at 2, so a little more breathing room as far as positioning, especially if they show up on radar. Has anti-stealth 1, so it can kind of help with some of the more pseudo crazy suits. Won't save you from a pixie, unfortunately, because they will be roaming at 500. Observational Danolink is pretty standard. Frontline support, which is not something that you see too much often with a lot of supports, but this is definitely nice to have, especially if your team's trying to get back into it, so it definitely helps out. Definitely built for space because it has the aerospace gimbal at 2. Like Shock Absorb 3 has anti-blast stabilizer, so it definitely wants to get in there. With balancers, this is always a good sign, balancers. But because I draw a similar conclusion with the Advanced Hazel, that's at 50 cost more, there's no force injectors, so you kind of have to be very, very careful with playing within the rules of this suit. Yeah, obviously AMBAC 2, so this is going to be definitely a lot better in space. Psychomu weapon buffer at 3, so reducing some of that damage from the back shots there, and then a special add-on buffer at level 2 to reduce that by 15. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes tonight's news and update regarding our brand new banner suit, the RX-78NT-X from Gundam Katana. But I want to know what you guys think about this brand new 3-star support that is gracing Gundam Battle Operation 2 tonight, and if it's something that you'll be pulling. If you're going to be fighting it, I want to know what you guys think it can do or can't do, because honestly, it's definitely got my attention. It reminds me, as I mentioned before, heavily of the Advanced Hazel that would be at 550 above it, just because they draw a lot of different similarities in terms of range output. It's not a long-range suit. It has balancers, which allow it to kind of, in certain occasions, swing at people. So, I don't know. It definitely looks really cool, and I'm just glad it's finally in here. So, with that said, that's it for now, and I will see you guys all on the next video.